My name is Amani.
My name is Sophia.
I'm Marcus.
And we're here to talk about our review of the year in Uhuru and doing our community research.
My name is Dr. Brian Lazensky. I am one of the co-founders of the Uhuru Youth Scholars program. We decided to make this documentary to focus on the previous year because it was such an impactful year, and the work that the youth did, I think, was really indicative of a program that's starting to kind of find its identity and come into its own.
We believe that youth of color, should be doing research on youth of color, that we should be doing our own research so we don't have interpretations of our information, our sacred stories in our communities.
One of the projects that we had that was part of our bigger research was going to a hair salon, and the hair salon's name was Blessings, and we conducted interviews on family, about Black families and how they were portrayed in the media.
TV's being propped up as like a parental substitute too. Like why are we guiding our kids to measure themselves based on these shows?
The TV is the parental substitute, and the internet is the educational substitute. And it shouldn't be.
That's my question.
But who's supposed to police these things?
In the beginning of the discussion, we just got done watching Empire. So we talked about Empire like as an example of how Black people, as a big TV show, like during this time period, are perceived as on the media. So we were talking about that show like as an example.
I think my only issue with Empire as a show is that there's a range of our experiences as Black people that's not portrayed in that platform of media. Now, if it was Empire and then we had something like, I know I'm finna date myself to sound corny, but the Cosby Show.
I remember them talking about the Cosby family as being a family to watch as a role model, and then compared to now, going from the Cosbys to Empire, of being which one's the best role model for our Black families.
The Cosby Show is great for Black people to see, but it's unrealistic for some people. And even that can mess with some of the youth that's out here. I'm coming out of the Lion family, and the Cosbys is who I want to be. My family's no way good enough. And I don't want to be a part of them. So I'm not listening to my elders.
Going into it, I thought me and Marcus were kind of just going to sit there and talk and be like, yeah, we're some kids doing, research, and they're going to have us, tell them some facts about something, and, maybe not be as open to having a conversation. That what I got out of it is, I just really love the sacred space that we built amongst each other.
I think what it brought to the group was, first off, it was one of the first, discussions that we facilitated as youth, period, working with Uhuru. So that was really cool, and then it was also cool to bring the footage back and let us watch it, the people that weren't a part of the discussion, and let us see kind of how a discussion is supposed to be facilitated. So it gave us something to work towards, or something to be okay, we can do that, be inspired by.
Back in January, during our research, we got the opportunity to talk to Dr. Brittany Lewis, and she talked to us about some things that were new to me, such as Sarah Bartman, because our research question in different groups was the perception of beauty. So she was telling us about the perception of beauty in media and the history behind it, and one of the examples she brought up was Sarah Bartman.
How is the history of the African American women and how they perceive beauty related?
Okay. They're directly related. I'm not sure if you heard of a woman named Sarah Bartman, but in the quick version of that narrative is you have former African women taken to Europe by European explorers and put on as a circus freak. Okay? and she was put on as a circus freak because of her large buttocks, right? Because her shape and her bodily image didn't look like Victorian white woman's image. And for a very long time, she was a part of the circus in Europe.
What I got out of having that discussion with her is I didn't know that the hypersexualization of Black women went so far back. And when she taught me about, so I'd never heard of Sarah Baartman, so we did more research about it, and the fact that she was put in a zoo and people were looking at her as if she wasn't a human is kind of something that they do today still in the media, just a little hidden, you know, and with like magazines and certain TV shows and stuff like that, and these stereotypes that they put in music videos that basically hypersexualizes Black women as if they're not
Real people.
Yeah, like
with minds.
Yeah, with minds, and like more than just their body.
So in McDonald's, we were going around asking people general questions about beauty and their perceptions and how media affected their perceptions of beauty and of themselves.
I just feel that what the media be talking about and all that rapping stuff, they just try to categorize that, I guess.
So some of the things that we discussed within the interview was the man's role in deconstructing the myth of what beauty is.
Can I say what I think a man's role should be? I think that, so there's a lot of like African American guys who are aspiring rappers and everything. I think that they should try to, in their music videos, they should not only put light-skinned girls in the music videos, but have some like darker girls in there and enhance their beauty.
Okay, so well, I know personally that the media greatly affects pretty much everyone that we interview and talk to in kind of, well, mostly a negative way, unless we're talking to some white people, but like mostly a negative way because you're seeing these other people on the TV that are supposed to be, you know, the standard of beauty, and then you're looking at yourself like, I don't look like her. So I know it's just kind of like makes you feel kind of, and then the people that do look like you on TV are half naked and, you know, right, being objectified. So you kind of feel like that's what you're supposed to, not that's what you're supposed to be doing, but like they're kind of putting out the idea that that's what you're good for.
So my involvement in Uhuru is I'm a co-facilitator. Myself and Dr. Brian Lazinski facilitate the course. And so we pretty much are here to introduce the youth to this framework, this way of identifying themselves as scholars, as researchers, as thinkers. They have presented at a couple of national conferences. One of them is called Allied Media Conference, which takes place annually in Detroit. That conference is designed to get a bunch of different groups around the country together who use media to educate, to uplift, to create solidarity, to teach, and things like that. And so the students have presented their work there.
The denying, the dying, the killing of innocent people, dying when I walk into a store with a hoodie on my back, the dying, the killing of innocent people sparked by the fabricated fears of. And then I get asked to give examples of how racism exists. Think of the system as a family. Now think of racism as a contagious virus. The family is being infected with this virus. Now this family continues to deny us, denies of our education, history, and create chaos. When you look at me, what is it that you see?
The purpose of our workshop that we prepared for the Detroit trip is about keeping community stories sacred and showing different art forms of through spoken word, through hip hop, and through R&B, of different artists who say their sacred stories about their community through an art form. So that was the purpose of our whole workshop.
They also presented they facilitated a workshop at Free Minds, Free People, which is a biannual conference that takes place at different cities across the nation. So this past summer, it took place in Oakland, California. The students facilitated a workshop, about the importance of youth being able to step into their own, positions of power and to teach and to connect with other youth groups around the country.
Why are certain policies in place? Like, why do we learn what we learn in school? So we decided to try to figure that out and see what students thought about it. So in doing this, we interviewed one person in particular who said something that stood out to us. Jonathan Hamilton. He said that it's not a educational gap or achievement gap. It's an educational debt because, like, again, what we heard about, we weren't even close to being treated with equality, and equality is not what we needed to be treated with anyway. We needed equity.
I was gonna say also, and Free Minds, Free People, something that we highlighted was our partnership in working with Jóvenes con Derechos. So our workshop was about, again, like, how can we connect as different groups. So we just gave them, I remember going there and giving them a presentation of what Uhuru does and a presentation of what Jóvenes con Derechos does, and how we connected to do different projects. So, and then how that's a form of networking. So the importance of that connection. I'm talking about that for the Free Minds, Free People.
I learned just as much from this work as they learned from me. The purpose of the Uhuru program is not for me to kind of like lay out a bunch of, instill a bunch of knowledge on them. It's for them to ask their own questions and for me to create conditions for them to answer those questions.
This past year has really helped us with just building our confidence as people and building our confidence as networkers and in the work field, just building relationships with people and adults too, our communications with adults even. What else, guys? What else?
Also, one thing I kind of take out of here, which is the most important for being all three of us, being youth of color, is how they empowered us to be young black leaders and queens and kings, but also how to act in the world of being a youth of color, and how our learning is important to everyone else, because youth and black youth are the future of the world.
The Network for the Development of Children of African Descent Family Education Center, serving our community since 1997. Our mission, we exist to strengthen the cultural connections within the communities of African descent that promote, sustain, and enhance the healthy development of our children. Our vision, we envision a place where the African spirit is nurtured and renewed, a place where we learn from our children and elders, a place where we affirm our global family, a place where we can take care of family business. Our goal, to have a positive impact on the cultural, spiritual, and academic success of children and families through literacy and cultural identity. To donate African literature and make a financial contribution to support our mission, contact us at 651-209-3355 or visit us online at NdCAD.org.
I'm gonna live the life I sing about in my song. I'm gonna stand for rights and always shun the wrong. If I'm in a crowd, if I'm alone, on the street or in my home, I'm gonna live the life I sing about in my song. Every day, every way, yeah. On a busy thoroughfare, folks may watch me, some may spot me, say I'm foolish, but I don't care. I can't sing one thing, then live another. by day and the devil undercover. I'm gonna live the life I sing about in my song. I'm gonna live the life I sing about in my song. I'm gonna stand for right and always shun the wrong. If I'm in a crowd, if I'm alone, on the street or in my home, I'm gonna live the life I sing about in my song, in my song.
The data that they are generating is actually, I think, in a lot of ways truer to the real lives of people that they're connected with on a day-to-day basis, and I think that speaks, volumes.